Kirk Duckwall here with your May 2026 real estate agent news. Well, some big changes in inventory numbers. What does that mean for our marketplace? We'll get into that in just a second. But first, I have some classes I want to mention. We have how to write the winning offer. Again, these classes are open to all brokerages, agents throughout the Twin Cities area or licensed within Minnesota. So yeah, we have that class coming up. That is going to be on Wednesday, June 3rd, 10 to noon in St. Paul. And also improving outcomes with data. That's going to be June 17th, 11 a.m. to 12:30, also in St. Paul. Yeah, that one we're going to do a deep dive into a lot of misnomers that sellers and buyers have and how you can leverage that to improve outcomes for your buyers and sellers. So come check out that class. I'll have links available for these, well, either in the email that you're going to receive or within the comments of the video. All right, let's dive into the data and take a look at what's going on here in our Twin Cities market. Okay, yeah, looking at the showings per week, per listing average, median sale price range. We're watching that come down, 4.53, average down to a 4.41 now. And that peaked out at 4.95, definitely a bit behind where we're running. Well, this is where we're seeing that inventory difference, because if we look at total showing activity in that range, we can see that that's actually up by 1%, and we've been tracking ahead. So the information coming from the association is that we're about 8% differential above where we were last year. That's almost 800 additional homes on the market right now. And although things are moving fast out there for a lot of agents, there are some changes in that direction that are likely to come. Future showings, as predicted, still running high, so we may have another couple good weeks of showing rates. Match rate in the marketplace is starting to come down as we are watching buyers come out of the market as we're coming out post-peak now. And engagement percentage of buyers within their searches, that's running pretty decent at about 67%. View rate 69 in the 14-day view average. Days on market currently tracking at 24.4, cancellation rate at 7. Foreclosures holding pretty steady at 1369 for Hennepin County, and that market meter 4.89. Want to point out though that for the single family market, that is tracking at over 1.5 points ahead at a 6.53. So this is in stable market territory for the market as a whole, but for single family, it's a good chunk higher there. All right, so how does this look on our market almanac? Yeah, we can see coming off of the peak market there, that blue line, that is the market meter, things slowing down. Why? Well, inventory's coming up. So you can see last year as inventory went up, market meter went down. There's our cancellation rate there in yellow, and that showing activity in gray here holding pretty steady. And we'll get into that showing forecast and that market meter forecast here in just a second. All right, want to pull up what we've been tracking here as far as the 10-year Treasury. Okay, so that has been coming back up as we were watching it retreat a couple of weeks ago, but making some movement. It does, hey, the Treasury is moving. What's that going to do to interest rates? Well, not as much as you might think, because when we pull out here, these are just little movements that are happening in the marketplaces, not major changes here. So, kind of pulling back, looking at a 10,000 foot view, you can see, the market overall is holding in a pretty decent spot. So, bouncing a bit around that 6.5%. We did get down back in that April timeline, getting close to 6.25. Going back a week, back above 6.5, and right now just under 6.5%. The forecast is showing, though, that interest rates are expected to kind of retreat back throughout the year into that fall market. If we could actually see that hold true, that could set us up for a really good spring market, especially if we're talking about rates below 6 going into next year. Talking about those forecasts, let's take a look here. Here is the showings forecast. So yeah, we're right in that kind of top peak weeks here. The week of the 10th, down slightly on the overall showing activity, but still holding strong before we see it kind of retreat back. Keep in mind, if we watch showing activity retreat like this, that is going to absolutely help buyers that have been struggling out there, especially with inventory numbers up by over 800 plus listings and growing. Keep that in mind. So why are we seeing this pull back like that? Well, we started off the year slower, right? We had a lot of things going on in our marketplace, a lot of uncertainty with the economy as well earlier this year, concerns there. So we came into the market, and also there was a lot of opportunity late last fall, which buyers took advantage of. So we came into this marketplace this year with 18% less buyer activity. And it kind of delayed, and we're finally seeing that pop, but it's just not going to hold there for very long. So when we look at the market meter forecast, here that is. I do want to point this out, it's kind of important. Market meter forecast, this thing's pretty accurate that we built out here. That it projected a 4.93, again, stable market range was the projection for this week. It ended up being a 4.89. So yeah, pretty close predictions coming through. And yeah, we are expecting that getting into full-blown buyer territory, which is a little bit rare. We'll see if it comes true. Full buyer territory as the market as a whole by the end of the month. Again, the single family market running about 1.5 points ahead, so that's only going to put it into that kind of mild stable market at that point. But that should absolutely be some relief for buyers out there. All right, now how is that going to affect prices? Yeah, here's the median sale price forecaster. So yeah, we're at that peak time of year right now, peak month. It's come down a little bit based on the original projection, which was 407, now down to 4029, and kind of retreating back, but holding relatively stable through July. But yeah, here's that drop off second half of the year, which could prove to be not so great for sellers post July, but really good opportunity for buyers. Hopefully you found this information valuable. As always, any questions, please feel free. Happy to help answer them, and come check out those classes we have coming.